We'll let you finish out Weird Fishes, and then whatever comes on shuffle next. If it's videotape, it's not my fault. Well, I'm here actually to set up a mute button for my mic on OBS because I just realized that I don't have a little tappy tap. Okay, dude, there's no way I didn't. Might have to go in the video. That might have to go in the video. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Peyton. You can call me PK, and I react to music. Today, we are reacting to disc 2 of In Rainbows by Radiohead. I was recommended to do this, as well as the other two bonus track, I guess, albums. It's been a while since I reacted In Rainbows, so this might be it's probably a little bit long overdue. I should have done this a while ago. Didn't really know. It's okay though. We're doing it now. I heard one of the tracks off of this too. Go slowly, and you'll see that in the from the basement reaction that I did for In Rainbows. I didn't know it was a part of this album or this bonus disc 2, whatever you want to call it. I didn't know it was a part of it, but I know now. I really enjoyed that song. I guess we'll see how it sounds studio version. I do know that this is just like not really throwaway tracks per se, but more so just tracks that they wanted to put on the album but couldn't find a place for them. Basically, what I'm getting at is I'm not expecting a decrease in quality, as normally, like how like bonus tracks would usually be kind of a decrease in quality, because a lot of times bonus tracks are just really throwaway songs. So we'll see. We'll see. But I'm really expecting this to sound on par with everything else. Oh, wait. Oh, I heard Bangers and Bangers plus Mash too. That was also from the basement. I didn't even notice that was on here. So I've heard both of those, and I loved both of those. So was Bangers plus Mash the one where Tom was also on the drums? But anyways, we'll get into track number 1, Mark 1. Oh, so we're kind of starting with the end of videotape. Bringing the piano. Man, that was cool. That was cool. Mark 1. No notes. No notes. That was cool. It was basically just seemed like a compressed maybe version of videotape with the vocals and everything like that, and then they brought in the piano at some point, and then it took the vocals out, and then it just kind of looped one chord on the piano. That was cool. It's cool. It's a cool way to start kind of a bonus track album disc 2. It's cool. It's a cool way to do it because it kind of just shows it's a continuation. Track number 2. Down is the new up. I like the piano in them. Seems like he's just talking, like, kind of just seems like he's saying, nothing's gonna happen without warning, so you can just kind of chill out, wind down, get yourself together, just get ready, be prepared for what's about to happen, which I don't know what's about to happen. I guess we'll see. Nothing's gonna happen without warning. This is like vastly different. Well, I wouldn't say vastly different. The only thing that makes it really that much different is the piano being in here. This feels not a lot different. Maybe I can see why this didn't go on the album. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. I can see why this wasn't fit into the album somewhere, because it's a different sound than a lot of it. But at the same time, a lot of the songs are different than each. I don't know. That's just the way I feel. Like I could see why, like thought process wise, hearing this and trying to put the final track list together and being like, how the song doesn't really fit too much. So strings, man. They made this music like for me, like exceptionally for me. Trust me, like trust me. They made it like I was talking to them, you know, while they're making all their music back then. You know, I was just talking to them like, yo, like y'all gotta make something for me. And like, okay, I got you. And that's I mean that's why the whole career is the way it is. You know, it's just all the kinds of music that I like. You know. You know. Is that what we're waiting on? Is that what we're wandering down? Strings, man. Jesus. So good. Get the guitar back in. So now that I know, actually, I wonder, is that Tom layering those vocals like that, or is this Tom and Ed? See, now that I know that Ed, at least in the live performance, he does a lot of backing vocals. Is that him in the studio doing it too, or is it Tom just layering vocals? I feel like somebody will know this answer. Someone, let me know. Let me know. Dude, this okay. First off, you know, I was kind of reading some stuff here and there about Radiohead, and people were like, "I love it when Tom moans." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because you know, I hadn't heard that in any of the music. And then I watched the From the Basement, and this dude is straight moaning in my ears. I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then he just ended the track like that. I'm like, I mean, sure, sure. I mean, if you want to, just go for it, I guess. So I guess he's really just kind of talking about how it's just okay. It's really reminding me of a song that I cannot remember which one it is for the life of me right now. I don't know, I can't think of it. But it's just saying, you know, chill out, wind down while you watch me fucking self destruct, you know. Kind of have a love hate relationship with streaming right now, so we're gonna try to stream again some point this week, but I don't know if I'll continue to stream or not. If not, I'll record everything offline. Just know that everything's authentic, and I'm not going to, you know, replay songs 5 million times before I react to them. It's just, you know, I do this for fun. You know, I do this for fun, so I don't have any reason to cheat y'all if y'all are expecting me to give a good reaction to something. So I have no reason to cheat y'all. So I'll just do everything the same as I would on stream, but we're just doing it, you know, without the people around, because sometimes I need that. So anyways, we'll go to on to track 3. Go slowly. I heard this in the reaction of From the Basement. Didn't know which album this was gonna be on or what it was gonna be on. I do know I really enjoyed this. I remember really enjoying this, and I remember actually I said that I was scared. I didn't know whether or not to be happy or sad because that first listen was so good from the from the Basement that I didn't know whether or not to be happy or sad because I didn't know if this was gonna be better or not, or if that was gonna be better or not. So I guess we'll find out now. But yeah. So track number 3, Go Slowly. So for what I will say, this album I can now okay, I keep calling it album. It's really bonus tracks, like a collection of bonus tracks. I don't know. I don't know what you want to call it. I'm gonna probably keep calling it an album, but it's really kind of tracks that they didn't feel that were fit for this album, even though they wanted to put them out somehow. So far with the first two, now 10 seconds into the third, I'm seeing why they were not on In Rainbows. They're different, right? And that's not a bad thing. They're a bit more like, OK Computer, more like Kid A, that sound. I'm sure it's more like the album that got released before this one. Again, I don't remember the name, I'm sorry. But I'll do a reaction to that one soon. I bet they're more like their earlier records. That would make sense. And they were trying to experiment a bit more on this one with making, experimenting in the sense of not as actually experimental, but experimenting with their sound in terms of they're moving further away from what they usually are, if that makes any sort of sense. But yeah, anyways. Come slow, come slow to His voice is so fucking good, dude. I'll never get over it. Is that a marimba? Sounded like a marimba. At least towards the end, it made it sound like a marimba. I don't know if it was. To be honest with you, just as I thought I would. I like the From the Basement version better. Not saying this is bad at all. It's not. Actually, this is my favorite track so far out of the three, which we'll see. It'll probably be my favorite off this one if it's not Bangers and Mash or Bangers plus Mash, whatever it is. No, I enjoyed it. It's just real chill. It's a real chill track. It's not really a whole lot to it. There's really just not a whole lot to it. It just seems like one of those tracks where he's kind of using his voice a bit more just as kind of an instrument just to add to it, add to the instrumentation and everything of that sort, and not as much of just like lyrics that mean a whole lot. But no, really, I did enjoy that one. Like I said, it was actually one of my favorites off of the Basement Sessions. It was legitimately one of my favorite songs from that video. So far, it's my favorite. We'll see. I do you know Last Flowers is popular? I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and I have listened to Bangers and Mash off the Basement Sessions as well, which I really enjoy that one too. We got another instrumental, track number 4, Mark 2. It's kind of like an it sounds like background noises off a Nude. I think it is. I think it's the background noises off a Nude. The background tracks or whatever, the backing tracks. It sounds like they're going through the same progression. Also, sorry if words don't come out too great right now. My nose is very stuffy, so we're trying to pronounce words as much as, or enunciate words as much as I can, and do things of that sort because it doesn't help having a stuffed nose during this. Anyways, yeah, that sounded like the backing tracks to Nude. Just like how Mark 1 was kind of, I guess you could say, a continuation of Videotape. Seems like that was the backing tracks off of Nude, so that's pretty cool. So now we'll get into track number 5, Last Flowers. Again, I've heard of the name of this track very often. Heard a lot of people talk about it, but I haven't listened to it. Excited. Has the most views on Genius from this bonus track bonus album, bonus something. We'll listen to it. Track number 5, Last Flowers. More piano. See, that's surprising to me. There's been more piano on this so far. Well, 2 songs, but still. I mean, compared to as many songs on the album, yeah.
Toes, snot nose, little punk, and I can face the evening straight.
That's real.
You can offer me escape.
Sorry for pausing. Knowing a little bit about kind of what Tom said around this point in time, where he didn't really want the reputation of Radiohead to be like a depressing kind of emo artist, or band. They didn't. That's not what they wanted. That's not what he wanted. And so, I'm kind of like, as we go through this, I'm kind of like trying to think, okay, why is this song not on the album? Did it just not fit in the track list? Did it sound different from everything else? Lyrically, is it not the same? This one to me, lyrically, is to me, I think it's what it is. I think, 'cause I want to say it was before this album. That's when he said that, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was before. Maybe it was before the album, before this one. I don't really remember. This one not being on there can make sense based off the lyrics. This seems a bit more sad, a little bit more down. You can't face the evening straight. You can offer me an escape. I mean, yeah, just more kind of depressing. Kind of gives me a bit more of that the lyrics give me kind of OK Computer vibes a little bit. Oh my god, this just reminded me of something. Okay, first off, Coldplay vibes. I was watching Turning the Tables. I was watching their reaction to OK Computer. I think it was OK Computer. And they mentioned Coldplay, and they said that it kind of gives off a little bit of Coldplay vibes. And I sat there and I was like freaking out because I'm like, that's exactly what I said when I listened to OK Computer. But certain parts, there's some aspects, elements that they use that remind me so much of Coldplay. And it was the acoustic coming in on the piano is what was kind of giving me that. Yeah, no, it's crazy that I wasn't the only one who did it. And maybe it's because they're both bands from the UK that kind of started their career. Okay, they didn't start the career at the same time, but were kind of growing in popularity close at the same time. And so maybe that's what it was. Just kind of common influence from the era. Maybe not. I don't really know. Yeah, no, there's definitely some resemblance. There's definitely some resemblance here and there, and it's kind of cool to me. It's cool to me.
And if I'm gonna talk, I just wanna talk. Please don't interrupt. Just sit back and listen.
Pretty straightforward, I think. They're pretty straightforward lyrics. For context, if you don't really know, a lot of people that don't really feel heard in their struggles, which it may not be, everybody. A lot of people that struggle kind of feel alone, and then a lot of it is due to the fact that people will not sit down and listen. A lot of people would rather talk about themselves, and that's fine. That's fine. If you want to talk about yourself all day. But there are some people, and it's a great lyric from this album, Care for Me, by Sava. Fighter. The song is Fighter. And it's this lyric basically where he says, you're not really listening to me. You're just waiting to talk. And I feel like people do that way too much. People will sit there and wait for you to finish talking before you talk, and it's detrimental to some people. Some people have a hard time dealing with that because they want to feel heard, they want to feel seen. And so that's kind of like what I say. That's what a lot of people say too. Is that there's a difference between being heard and being listened to. Someone listening to you and someone hearing you. I could sit there next to you and you could be talking your ass off, and I won't understand a single word you're saying. But I can hear you. I can hear that you're talking and maybe get, the smallest gist of what you're saying. But in reality, at that point, I'm really just waiting to talk. When you listen, you sit down and you really analyze everything this person's saying, and you really understand fully what they're talking about. A lot of times when you suffer through things, I mean, you just want to talk. And, sometimes it gets to the point where, you can't just hold everything in anymore and you just need to talk. But in reality, you need someone to really listen to you and understand you. That's where therapy comes into play and things of that sort. If you don't have friends that could be able to do that, just a lot of stuff. But I feel that, I feel that heavily, but just please don't interrupt me. I just, I just want you to sit there and listen to me speak. It doesn't matter what you say afterwards. It doesn't matter what you say, during it, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just sit there and listen to me and show me that you understand what I'm saying.
If you take me, then you'll get relief.
Next to the acoustic, the piano. Bass is coming in, but I like that we're sticking with the acoustic. Mm-hmm. The way I kind of took the outro there was based off of relief. And here's what I'm gonna say about it, because I'm experiencing this at the moment, actually. Sometimes when you experience too much relief, as in you went through a really, really dark time, which this is at this point in time, it's kind of in line with Tom's life. You get into a really, really dark time, and you start recovering from it, and you start getting better, but you start getting better a lot, like really fast, I guess. And sometimes that can cause you to actually relapse because it's too much to take in at one time. And so it's too much, too bright, too powerful to me. Feels like I'm recovering, but it's too much at one time. You get what I'm saying? So it's like I kind of feel that with kind of stuff that's happened in the past year, went through a really dark time, and now things are starting to look really, up, but it's gone up really fast. And sometimes I kind of, I have a hard time with dealing with, you know, it's kind of like the saying, people always joke about, I'm struggling from success, but in reality, it kind of is in a way, in a way. But that's kind of how I took that. I will still stick with the reason why this isn't on the main album is because of the lyrics. It's giving me like kind of pretty big OK Computer vibes. Like this would have been on OK Computer. Maybe it was written for OK Computer and he just re-recorded it with new vocals because that's really what it sounds like. In a way. I want to see what it says. Dude, am I a genius for what? This song was originally part of the OK Computer recording sessions and was originally to be used by York for his solo album The Eraser, but opted instead to release it in Rainbow's bonus disc in 2007. So it was recorded during the OK Computer era. See, that's what I was saying. Lyrics wise, it doesn't match. Almost sonically, it doesn't match. The only thing that matches is like the era that we're in now within Rainbows is the vocals and really the quality of vocals. Almost, that's really, that's really what it is. For me, that's what kind of tipped me off to that. That's crazy. That's so crazy. Track number 6, Up on the Ladder. Kind of like static, almost like radio static in the left ear. Well, not static, but you know what I'm saying. Like feedback maybe with the guitar on the right. Just a kick right down the middle.
Trapped in hyperspace. 1 minute, snake charming. The next day, a motorcade. Places. Watch me down.
Wait.
I'm a puppet.
All the right moves in all the right places. Sorry. Sorry, I just had a One Republic moment. I grew up with that fucking song, dude, the One Republic song, so it popped in my head immediately. Stuck in a TARDIS, strapped in hyperspace. I'm not gonna guess. I mean, I know what movie or series, TV series this is from. I just forgot the name of it. I'm not gonna say any words to guess this because I'm not gonna look like a dumbass right now. I'm just not. I'm not. I know it's popular. I'm not. I'm not gonna do it. When I heard motorcade, I was, I actually really thought to. Well, at first I thought of JFK, and then I moved to kind of almost like a hearse. How kind of in that sense, because I guess in a way, like a funeral procession is a motorcade. They just kind of don't call it that anymore, right? I mean, am I wrong on that? I mean, a motorcade is just a procession, but I don't know. Seems like this one has a little bit of darker undertones, even though everything's kind of feeling a bit more uppity. Puppet thing reminds me of a marionette line. Off of Kid A. It's one of the songs in Kid A. I can't remember the song right now.
Give me
Crack or
a light. I've been climbing up this ladder. I've been wasting my time.
Can go straight forward one of two ways. I mean, climbing up the ladder, corporate wise, trying to climb up the ladder, but you're really just kind of wasting your time. Or he did climb up the ladder corporate wise and wasn't very happy with his job. Still not happy, so he's wasting his time. Climbing up the ladder in terms of recovering from depression, kind of referring back to Last Flowers. So not Lost Flowers, Last Flowers, where he's kind of saying, it's too bright, too powerful, too much. He's kind of climbing up the ladder to get better, and everything's too bright, too powerful, too much, and so it feels like he's wasting his time because he keeps falling back down a little bit. Could go either way. It kind of feels almost like we're talking about like a corporate ladder, the shit that we're talking about. Hold on a second. I like the way that ended. Yeah, no, it feels like ladder referring to working, corporate jobs. Up on the ladder, we wait for your mistake. You're sitting there waiting for somebody to make a mistake so you can take their job. We move up the ladder. Up the ladder, we're trying to call out your name. If you want to stay with more hostile, you're trying to call out their name, telling them that, I'm coming for you next. You're also going to try to call out their name to show that, like, hey, bud, you need to get it together. Up on the ladder, you're all the fucking same. Talking about everybody in the United States, or not United States because they're not from the United States, but everybody in general that is trying to climb up the ladder, everybody's in reality just the same. But he's gonna say that in a derogatory way because he doesn't want to get trapped in life. Why it wasn't on the album? Sound. Easy. Sound. Doesn't really fit. Too electronic. Too much electronic drums and things of that sort. I feel like In Rainbows in itself, in its essence, is more of a, I think I said this already during the reaction, that it's more of a bass and drum album, bass and drum heavy album. That's why this doesn't fit. I am kind of just rolling through this pretty quick because I'm tired and I want to go to sleep. But we're going to try to get some quality reactions out of here. Bangers plus match, or bangers and mash, whatever you want to call it. Actually, I don't know what it's really supposed to be called, but heard this one on the basement sessions, or in the basement sessions, whatever you want to call them, from the basement sessions. Really enjoyed this one. This was the one that he was playing the drums with Philip. Like, he had his own snare, was it a snare, hi-hat, and a kick, I think, and he was playing it with Philip. We're gonna listen and make sure that, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Anyways, track number 7, Bangers. I'm gonna say bangers and mash. Yes, it is. And I can tell by the drums, the drum pattern. This is the one he was running in my ear during the basement sessions. I don't heard it.
our police, a vice chancellor, and now one more.
Sorry. Disclaimer, I read this, okay? I'm sorry. When there's a starting instrumental that does, the song starts with just an instrumental that goes on for like 30 seconds. I tend to start reading things because that's how my mind works. I read it. It makes sense. I hear it. Opposite end. So let's take last song right here. Take last song, throw it across the room, and go pick up the shining little gold brick on the side of the road. Okay, not the side of the road, in the other corner of the room. That's what this is. Song in a different perspective, basically kind of showing how corrupt they are, these people in power, how corrupt they can be, and he's writing it from their POV, kind of just saying, kind of like here, chief of police or vice chancellor, lord and lady, blah blah blah. Like he's saying, like the chief of police or vice chancellor, lord and lady, blah blah blah. You're all dancing to my little red book, basically saying you can just pay him off and it doesn't matter. Because I'm assuming little red book means like a checkbook. Okay, we're not. No, we're not talking about a checkbook. I guess he's really just kind of saying like you're all dancing to my money. I can pay you off and I can just do whatever the hell I want without y'all really doing anything to me. And then you're talking about I got the poison, or I got the poison, and now I want more. To me, it's kind of like a way of saying that. To me, it's a way of saying I think the poison is really referring to money. He's got so much money. He got so much money now. He just wants more money. That's kind of the poison. It poisoned his mind to start being a bit more corrupt in a world that everybody's trying to be, not. But that's kind of how I'm taking it.
If you are on the top, then it is a long drop. The pyramid is power, they change your body out. If you are on the top, then it is a long drop. If you stare into the dark will stare back into your soul.
Why are you laughing, bro? You're confusing the fuck out of me? Yeah, that makes sense. Hold on a second. Just looked it up because I was afraid I was wrong. Guess who's right again? 2 videos in a row, right? It's 2 videos in a row? I think so. 2 videos in a row. We're right on one thing at least. Making waves, bro. No, I love this one so much when I watched it from the basement video, and it's still just as good here. I love I love the way he sings the verses. I love the way he does it. Like I just love the cadence, kind of just his voice. I just love the whole way he does that. It's great. Um, yeah, just talking in the perspective of somebody in power and basically how corrupt it is and how kind of dark it is. Being up there with money and shit and how dark it can be, but in reality, it's just how corrupt they are and things of that sort. Anyways. So we'll get into it. Track number 8. 4-minute warning. Tom chorus in my ears right now. What the fuck? Okay. This feels pretty straightforward. It just feels like, to me, it's like a POV of somebody in war. That's what it feels like. You know, this is just a nightmare. Soon I'm gonna wake up. Someone's gonna bring me around. Just, you know, I can't believe what's happening. Running from the bombers, hiding in the forest, hiding in the forest. You know, so he's running from the bomber planes, just like that. Running through the fields, laying flat on the ground, just like everybody stepping over heads. You know, laying flat on the ground, just like everybody else is dead. You know, he's running through the fields, and he's laying on the ground to hide the fact that he's alive still. And then, you know, stepping over heads, you know, people that are gone.
I don't wanna know. I just wanna run and hide. This is just a nightmare. And soon I'm gonna wake up. 4-minute warning.
I like that. It's pretty chill. Just a chill song. It felt short, even though, I mean, it was 4 minutes long, so I guess it's not super long for a song, but it's also not like super short. I don't know, it didn't feel very long, so yeah, that's a good sign. In the sense of it's a good song. Yeah, it just feels pretty straightforward. Just kind of telling the story. Um, just kind of telling the story of somebody, soldier or something of that sort, or maybe it's metaphorical. You know, maybe it's metaphorical for him kind of running away from his own head, which could very much be so. You know, this is just a nightmare. Someone's gonna wake me up. Someone's gonna bring me around in the sense of, you know, what I'm going through, what I'm experiencing right now, and you know, maybe the life I'm living right now is kind of a nightmare. You know, running from the bombers, hiding in the forest. He's running from, you know, I guess again, like kind of like what I said, the kind of the voices. You know, what some people will call demons. He's kind of running from that. He's hiding in the forest. You know, hiding just anywhere you can try to hide within its thoughts. You're running through the field, laying flat on the ground. You know, trying to run away from his issues, laying flat on the ground to act dead, in the sense of acting dead in the sense of the camera's not focused. Sorry. Um, in a way to try to kind of trick his brain to thinking he's gone. That way, everything will kind of stop. You know, stepping over heads, running from the underground. Kind of the stepping over heads could be a little bit of symbolic for maybe the times where he's kind of running through a scenario in his head, and so he's kind of stepping over those scenarios within his head and those thoughts of those scenarios. Then running from the underground to me is kind of like I said, running from the bomber is kind of the same concept. And the only reason I bring that up is because the second verse is kind of, you know, it's the same thing. You know, don't want to hear it. I don't want to know. I just want to run and hide. And then this is just not very soon. I'll wake up and someone will bring me around. That's the only reason I bring up kind of a mental health little aspect of it, because maybe that's what he wanted it to be. Again, I don't really know. It's Tom. Tom writes what he wants to write. I just realized I forgot to do this for Bangers plus Mash. The reason I don't think Bangers and Mash is on the album is both lyrically and sonically. Lyrically, it doesn't fit anything that's on there already. Sonically, it just doesn't really fit anything that's on there already. It doesn't mean it's a bad song. Actually, it's probably my favorite one. Actually, I'll get to that in a minute. Format warning why it's not on there. Really just instrumentation. Actually, I really enjoyed all these songs on here. It was pretty, I mean, of course it's short. It's 26 minute, you know, kind of a B-side disc too, whatever you want to call it. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Like I said, I was just kind of like, you can see why they didn't make the, you know, regular album, but that doesn't mean they're bad songs, because it's not the reasons. The reasons are more just because they didn't fit. My favorite, Bangers and Mash. That song is great. That song is great. I actually really enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go to sleep. If you'd like to check out the uncut, unedited version of this reaction and my past reactions, you can check me out on Patreon at PK Reacts. Hope you had a good day. I tried, but don't know when I'll be on the stream next. We'll try. We'll figure it out. I'm just kind of not really fond of doing it right now, so we'll see. We'll see. Stay safe. Stay alive. I love you.